Jimmy Carter may have lived here for 4 years, but to really know the 39th president, you had to go to Plains, Georgia, where he was born and raised. And eventually retired with his wife, First Lady Rosalind Carter.
To assess the other churches.
Still teaching Sunday school into his 90s. A president, yes, but peanut farmer first.
He was very humble. He was very uninterested in the trappings of Washington, D.C. He was very uninterested in, participating, I think, in some of the rituals. And while that might endear him to us now, that made it harder for him to, I think, work in the D.C. process at the time.
One more.
His presidential legacy likely to be overshadowed by his humanitarian works after those 4 years. Former presidents, one after another, nodded to the enormous good Carter did once he left the Oval Office. Bill Clinton, who presented Carter with the Medal of Freedom, noted how he lived to serve others until the very end. While the Obamas extolled upon Carter's decency, echoed by the current president.
Decency. 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 Everybody deserves a shot. Everybody.
Incoming President Trump, who days ago criticized Carter's decision to cede control of the Panama Canal to Panama, acknowledged the challenges Jimmy faced as president came at a pivotal time for our country, and he did everything in his power to improve the lives of all Americans. For that, we all owe him a debt of gratitude. Arthur Milne, who hosted the Carters at his Kingston home,
Now, I don't believe that Mr. Ford would purposely kill 50 million people.
once served the former president wine made by the Canadian comedian who lampooned him on SNL.
And he looked at me and he said, "Dan Aykroyd?" I said, "Yes, Mr. President." And he said, "From Saturday Night Live?" I said, "Yes, Mr. President." And then President Carter held his glass up and he said, "I've earned this one."
But Milne will remember his friend for more than his sense of humor.
He always challenged you. He always challenged you to see your better angels and see the better angels of others.
And Paul, there continues to be an outpouring from American and world leaders tonight because this president had major impacts around the world, working to eradicate guinea worm in developing nations. Cases down by 99% since the Carters made that a mission back in the 80s.
And Katie, I take it the plans for Carter's memorial service are already taking shape?
Yeah, so first there's going to be a motorcade to the Carter Center in Atlanta where he's going to lie in repose for about 36 hours. Carter will then be flown here to Washington where he will lie in state at the Capitol. And of course, there will be a state funeral at Washington National Cathedral before he is taken back home to Plains where he will be laid to rest in the family plot.
Thank you, Katie. This is CBC's Katie Nicholson in Washington.